What if I told you this car can accelerate faster than a V8 supercar yet doesn't burn a single drop of fuel? The 2026 Audi e-tron GT Quattro isn't just another luxury EV, it's Audi's loudest statement yet in the electric performance war. From its near-silent launch control to a cabin that feels more spaceship than sedan, this machine promises both brute force and futuristic comfort. But does it really deliver on that promise, or is it just an expensive illusion? Let's find out. The e-tron GT has always been Audi's boldest answer to Tesla and Porsche, a car built not just to go electric, but to make electricity feel exciting. And now, in 2026, Audi says they've taken that vision even further. The new e-tron GT Quattro arrives with sharper design lines, smarter software, and a reworked powertrain promising quicker acceleration and longer range, all while keeping that unmistakable Audi Grand Touring feel. It's aimed squarely at drivers who want supercar speed with everyday usability, the kind of car that turns a highway commute into an event. But here's the real question: can this updated e-tron GT truly outperform the competition, or is it simply refining what we already know? Over the next few minutes, we'll dive into its design, interior, performance, and how it stacks up against rivals like the Taycan and Model S, and by the end, you'll know if this is the electric Grand Tourer worth your money. At first glance, the 2026 Audi e-tron GT Quattro looks familiar, sleek, low-slung, and sculpted like a Grand Tourer that refuses to age. But look closer, and you'll see the subtle evolution that Audi's designers have made. The front fascia now carries a more aggressive light signature, with slimmer matrix LEDs that seem to stare right through you. The vents and contours have been reworked not just for style but for function, shaving off drag to make every mile of range count. Step inside, and the transformation becomes even clearer. The cabin feels like stepping into Audi's idea of the future, minimal yet deeply luxurious. There's soft recycled microfiber where you expect leather, new ambient lighting that pulses to the rhythm of your drive mode, and a completely updated infotainment interface that finally feels as fluid as your smartphone. The seating position is low and driver-focused, but comfort hasn't been sacrificed. You could drive across states in this thing and still step out ready for dinner. But the real magic happens the moment you press the accelerator. Dual motors now produce over 650 horsepower with overboost engaged, that's supercar-level power, delivered instantly and silently. 0 to 60 happens in around 3 seconds flat, and the torque surge pins you back in a way that's equal parts thrilling and eerie. On the Autobahn, the car feels planted, confident, and endlessly smooth, as if the road itself was designed around it. Yet what's even more impressive is how controlled it remains. You get explosive acceleration without chaos. And this isn't just a straight-line performer. Audi's latest Quattro all-wheel drive system adapts in milliseconds, shifting power seamlessly between front and rear for maximum grip. Through tight corners, it feels balanced and predictable, like it's reading your mind. The steering is sharper than before, and regenerative braking now blends more naturally, letting you drive with one pedal most of the time. Of course, no car is perfect. Even with the improvements, the e-tron GT's range, around 310 miles on paper, still lags slightly behind Tesla's latest figures. And while charging speeds have improved, real-world fast charging can still depend heavily on the network you use. But in return, Audi offers something those other EVs often miss: a sense of soul. The build quality, the tactile feedback, the way everything feels purposefully engineered, it's that intangible Audi DNA that keeps you emotionally connected to the drive. And then, the moment of truth. We're on the open stretch of Autobahn, foot down, and the e-tron GT Quattro launches like a silent missile. There's no roar, no drama, just an instant surge of force that feels almost unnatural. The speedometer blurs past 100, 150, and 200 kilometers per hour, and the car just keeps pulling, effortlessly. Most EVs start to taper off, but this one feels like it's barely breaking a sweat. What's wild isn't just the power, it's the control. The chassis stays perfectly composed even at ridiculous speeds. There's no twitch, no float, just laser-straight confidence. The adaptive suspension reads every ripple in the asphalt, and the Quattro system keeps you locked in line as if magnetized to the road. It's one of those drives that make you question physics and then trust Audi's engineers a little more than you probably should. But here's where things get interesting. While the e-tron GT feels alive on the Autobahn, it's just as capable in real-world driving. In city mode, the throttle softens, the ride relaxes, and the silence becomes almost meditative. You glide through traffic with zero vibration, surrounded by soft lighting and high-end materials. It's like piloting a luxury lounge that just happens to do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Yet, despite all that polish, a question lingers. Has Audi's pursuit of perfection made this car too clinical? You can't help but notice how effortless it all feels, maybe too effortless. There's no raw noise, no drama, just relentless precision. For some, that's pure bliss. For others, it might feel a touch detached. Still, what Audi has built here is undeniably impressive, a grand tourer that merges speed, comfort, and sustainability in a way few others can match. And with its latest updates, it just might have found the sweet spot between performance and personality. But before we call it the perfect electric GT, there's one final piece of the puzzle: how it stacks up on value and whether it's truly worth its six-figure price tag. Let's break that down next. So after a full day behind the wheel, the verdict on the 2026 Audi e-tron GT Quattro is clear. This isn't just another electric luxury sedan, it's Audi's defining statement for the EV era. The e-tron GT doesn't try to shout with outrageous gimmicks or futuristic dashboards. Instead, it wins you over with balance, a harmony of design, performance, and refinement that few electric cars can match. The pros? Instant torque that feels endlessly addictive, a cabin that blends sustainability with sophistication, and a driving experience that's equal parts confidence and calm. Audi's engineers clearly set out to prove that going electric doesn't mean losing soul, and in many ways, they've succeeded. The handling feels natural, the acceleration addictive, and the build quality, typically Audi, precise, solid, and quietly confident. The drawbacks? Range anxiety still lingers for anyone planning cross-country trips, and the charging infrastructure, especially across the US, hasn't quite caught up to the car's potential. Then there's the price. At over 6 figures, this is a serious investment, and not everyone will see the value in paying supercar money for silent speed. So who is this car really for? It's for the driver who values design and detail as much as acceleration. Someone who wants cutting-edge performance wrapped in everyday usability, the kind of person who appreciates innovation but refuses to compromise on comfort or quality. If Tesla appeals to the tech-minded and Porsche attracts the purists, the e-tron GT sits confidently in between, the refined performer for those who want both. In a market flooded with electric hype, Audi's e-tron GT Quattro stands out for doing what great cars have always done, making you feel something every time you drive it. It's not just a step forward for Audi, it's a reminder that the future of performance doesn't have to be loud to be exciting. But what do you think? Has Audi nailed the perfect balance between performance and elegance, or is it still chasing the leaders? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real-world reviews from the driver's seat.